Kintsugi Koko here. Welcome to my quirky, eclectic vlog. How is everyone this evening? Hopefully fine and dandy. The full moon creeping on its peak. I was going to say the crevice, but I guess it's more or less the peak of the full moon because it's all full moon energy right now. Oh, today was such a good day. I had so much fun volunteering. I swear, it's so much fun doing what I do at the volunteer center. Oh, I really enjoy it. And I'm so glad that I decided to do that. For the longest time, all I would do is just sit at home and mope. And I am so proud of myself for pulling up my big girl panties and getting the heck out of the house, you know? That is one of the hardest things to do when you are recovering depresso espresso. You know what I'm saying? Recovered depresso espresso. But today, nonetheless, is day 9 of our Greatfull series, our Lessons to Blessings. And I thought today would be an interesting one to talk about one of the biggest lessons that came to me when I was about 3. And it took me until I was almost 19 to figure it out. That was a fun one. So let's dive in, shall we? So, 3 years old, I have a really weird nightmare, right? And this nightmare, we are in the trailer. The first trailer that I ever lived in with my mom. And from the outside, it was the trailer we lived in. But when you were on the inside, it was like a different layout. And even weirder is when you were on the inside, like from the outside, it looked like a single wide. But when you were on the inside, it was set up like a house. Crazy. It's kind of like a Mary Poppins bag, you know? But also, it could be a good metaphor for like my body, because I looked tiny on the inside, but really on the inside or on the outside I looked tiny and small, but on the inside we are an infinite spiritual being, right? So maybe that's what I was picking up in my dream. Nonetheless, in this dream, when you walked in through the front door, which was in the same position as the door in our trailer, instead of being in the living room kitchenette with like a front bedroom, it was a dinette with a kitchen that hewed into a living room over this way, but there was a kind of a partial wall that then went around and went back into more rooms in the house, right? And I'm in the kitchen cooking. And in the living room out of the corner of my eye, I can see my brother and my grandmother. Now at this time, keep in mind, I have no clue I have a brother. I didn't meet my brother until I was 14. I knew of him when I was about 12, 13. No. I knew of him when I was probably like 6 or 7. I knew I had a brother and a sister from my dad's side, but I didn't know like their names or anything like that. And it's my brother, but as a teen, in the living room, sitting with my brother and I's grandmother from our dad. So our dad's mother is sitting in the living room, which is even more crazy because I didn't meet her till I was 14 either. But they're the two sitting in the living room. And I am making us dinner, right? And I'm cooking SpaghettiOs. No judgment. I love me SpaghettiOs. They were like crack in a can for me as a kid, okay? Especially like eating corn out of a can. I'm about to go into more explaining here. But at this time, I'm making SpaghettiOs, right? And I'm cooking them, and I can hear movement and talking on the little front patio area before you walk into the door. And I like peek out the window, which even crazier is it wasn't me really peeking out the window. It was like I was almost remote viewing what was going on in the patio, because then I was like parallel. I could see what they were doing from like this angle versus like from me peeking out a window and seeing them from that angle, you know? And there's 3 vampires. We're not going to judge this. Keep in mind, I was 3 years old when the first time I had this nightmare. And they're talking about coming in and killing us, me and my family. And obviously I freak out, and I can hear them talk about like what they're going to use. And they're like, oh, well, we have these poisonous SpaghettiOs that are acidic and will burn them on contact and kill them instantly. So hearing this, I take the SpaghettiOs I have and I pour them on me, and I lay on the kitchen floor, hoping, like, they were like, oh, I already got her, right? And at first they walk past me, and then they obviously pour the SpaghettiOs, the poisonous ones, on my brother and my grandmother. They go through the house and they get everybody, and then they're coming back and they see me on the kitchen floor. And at first they're like, oh, we got her already, let's head out. And someone's like, wait, did we get her? And then they come over and then they pour it on me anyway. And then I wake up from this nightmare, right? Fast forward. Many years, obviously. Like I said, I was almost 19 when I found out I had food allergies. Keeping in mind, it was not the first time I've been tested for food allergies. So when I was about 5th grade, 6th grade, I was tested for food allergies. And at that time, I only showed allergens to like 5 or 6 different species of grass. And so, which made sense, because anytime I would lay in the grass or roll in the grass or play in the grass, I would get like red rash all over my legs or wherever it touched, and then I would be insanely itchy. So it was more like a contact allergy. It wasn't necessarily like a severe allergy that could close my throat up, right? And so the second time I had done this allergen test, it showed the grasses, but then it also showed corn and tomato. And coming from somebody who was born in South Dakota in the Midwest, okay, corn on the cob, corn is like life, okay? You have corn almost with every meal. Like, it is a staple in a lot of, like, your cooking and your meals, and especially like Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas, like, you always had corn on the cob. I could tear me apart some corn on the cob in like 30 seconds flat. It's bad. And that was devastating to learn, because your girl loved corn, especially like I'd mentioned, corn out of the can. When I was a little girl, sometimes my mom and I, instead of like making popcorn to watch a movie, we would just get cans of corn, and I would eat the can of corn instead of popcorn. And I loved it. It was like my favorite, especially watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. I remember sitting on we had a couch, but it pulled out into a bed. And so sometimes we'd pull the bed out and like sit on the bed and watch a movie or whatever. I remember one time specifically sitting on that, eating a can of corn and watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. Boo, boo, boo. So, flash forward to the spring of 2012, where I'm having lots of crazy health issues, and we cannot figure out what is going on with me. Everything I'm eating, I'm getting super sick. And I mentioned, because I used to eat tomatoes like they were apples. I would sprinkle sugar on it and eat it, and that was one of my favorite snacks. And I mentioned to my mom, like, you know, what's so weird is like now whenever I eat tomatoes, my tongue starts itching, and it's so annoying because it's like one of those scratches you can't get. And anyone who has ever had like their tongue itch, it's like one of those ones like you scrape your teeth with your tongue just to try to like satiate the itch, but it doesn't work. So a very, very annoying itch. And my mom just like looks at me bug-eyed and is like, excuse me, ma'am, that's the precursor to your throat swelling up and shutting up, closing from an allergy. And I was like, oh. So then that was our little inkling to go get a food test done, right? And obviously it came back. I was, I think, a 3 for tomato, and I was like only a 2 for corn. And anyone who's got an allergen test, they grade it, I think, from like a 0 to 5 or 6. Obviously, 6 being like lethal, and then it kind of decreases, 0 being no reaction, right? And so mine are labeled sensitivities, but with tomatoes, I don't really I don't play with that one anymore just because, for one, it feels like acid when I eat it. It literally burns, which is ironic because, hello, the nightmare were acidic SpaghettiOs, tomato sauce, right? And even to this day, like if I eat tomato, like it is not pretty. I just recently tried my French chili just because I was being a trooper and I just wanted to support his food, and I ate it. I ended up projectile vomiting in his bathroom, and I felt really bad because I was trying to make it to the toilet and I did not make it to the toilet. But I did clean up my mess because I felt really bad. That was horrendous. But it was from eating the chili, which had tomatoes and tomato paste and tomato sauce in it. So, huzzah! The allergy's still there. Still can't eat tomatoes. So, after doing the allergy test, obviously, I became caffeine dependent when I got my first job when I was like 13 or 14. I was 14. And I got free soda at work. So I started drinking soda all the time. And because of that, we got addicted to it and became very dependent upon it, where if we didn't drink it, we would get severe migraines. It was really bad. And getting that test, I was like, I don't know if I believe this. So I continued to drink soda, right? And fast forward to recently, to today, we obviously don't mess with tomato much. Okay, obviously we try our life every once in a great while just to see if it'll kill us. Not that it ever would, because we learned our lesson last time. Tomatoes a no-no. However, we still kind of tiptoe and tap dance on the corn, right? And we cut back, and it's a lot better than what it was. Thank goodness. However, we really shouldn't even be consuming it at all. But I will say, the lesson to the blessing is, for one, my crazy dream was pretty accurate in telling me be careful about the food, even though I couldn't understand. And it was just such a weird nightmare. And I kept having it consistently. Like throughout my childhood, I had that dream so many times. Like it was insane. And now today, obviously when we used to drink all the time, and we were also smoking hookah, shisha. So between those two and eating corn, we were quite bloated with inflammation. And so absolutely cutting those out of my diet and focusing on my health and listening to my body, I lost all the ridiculous weight that I couldn't shake, and it was stressing me out. I would work out and it wouldn't go anywhere. It was annoying. However, it wasn't really just weight that needed to be lost. It was just inflammation that needed to be taken care of and de-escalated in a sense. So, lesson to blessing, listen to your body. Your body knows more about you than you probably do. So, we still occasionally drink our soda, but we also make sure we drink a lot of water. We know water cancels out allergy. It doesn't cancel, but it like flushes your system. So every once in a while, who am I kidding? We did for a little bit, but we still drink at least one a day. Just because we enjoy it. But we're working on canceling that out altogether, so. But that's all for today. Lessons to blessings. I love y'all big much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo.